For longtime volunteer leader Deb Weibel, Boston Cares has provided a deep sense of community, along with a deeper understanding of the issues facing the people she serves.
Volunteering has done a lot more than I thought it would for me. I've learned a lot, especially since I focused on all these lunch programs. You learn a lot about food insecurity, things I just didn't understand before, and I thought I knew a lot. You know, I worked in a hospital, and I've been in the community a long time, and I'm politically aware. Women's Lunch Place, for instance, it's not just homeless women. You think it's homeless women, but it's a lot of women who actually have housing, but they can't afford food now that they're paying for this housing. So food insecurity is just such a widespread problem, and in this very prosperous city, it's hard to believe. I mean, what's special to me about volunteering, particularly at the Boston Living Center, is getting to know the clients. And we've gotten to know each other. We talk baseball, we talk football. You know, one of the guys made me this necklace. He actually noticed the colors I was wearing. You know, it's very personal. Volunteering has really changed my retirement. I was a little worried when I retired because I didn't have a hobby, and I wasn't sure how I'd fill my time, and I was afraid I'd miss work. Well, I don't miss work at all, I have to tell you that. And it's just giving me sort of like a part-time job. It gives me a community of people that I get to interact with that I like, and it's really filled the void for me.
When people talk about Teresa Lamb, they inevitably point to how she connects people to one another and to Boston Cares.
I nominated Teresa because she's really great at bringing people together and strengthening the Boston Cares community. If she notices someone who's just joined Boston Cares, who maybe doesn't have a lot of friends or just moved to the city and doesn't really know their way around yet, and she finds someone that might be a good match for that person in terms of they might be from the same part of the country, she'll do her best to bring those two people together. She'll do the best to advance that social capital that we all know is incredibly important, and in doing so, it really brings our community closer together.
In addition to fostering community among volunteers at Prison Book Program, Room to Grow, and many more, Teresa also connects with the people she serves, such as an adult education student who completed his GED and started college with her help.
Yes, I asked him, I was like, how come I haven't seen you for a while? He's like, I'm done with the tutoring program. I passed my GED. I never expected that. With the little effort I helped him with his math, he were able to pass his GED and go to college. And it feels great when you see people help people succeed. It's not only my effort, it's like a whole bunch of volunteers who go to Excel to help these people, and they're able to change their lives through these programs, and it works. When you treat people with kindness and respect, you get that back. That's what makes volunteering important.
Volunteering with Boston Cares really made me feel like Boston was my home. When I moved here, I didn't really know anyone yet. I didn't know my way around. I've met so many great people through Boston Cares. I made friends, and I really felt like Boston became my home after I started volunteering.
In addition to leading projects such as Prison Book and the Daily Table, Melissa has been active with the Volunteer Relations Committee and the new Associate Board. Determined to raise awareness of Boston Cares with local leaders, Melissa created a system for the Associate Board members to contact almost 100 elected officials representing the communities where we volunteer.
I really wanted to communicate to our elected officials, and not only is Boston Cares so important to all our community partners and all the people that we serve through those community partners, but that our volunteers are really engaged citizens who care passionately about a wide range of issues. Sometimes it can feel hard to quantify the impact of an organization that mobilizes volunteers, but not really when you think about it. It's just the thousands and thousands of volunteers that we have with Boston Cares, and then the thousands and thousands of people that they're affecting through their volunteer work. And especially right now, it feels like everything is so big and so daunting, and you don't know what you can do to make a difference. Everyone can do it, and you can do it with the project that you feel most connected to, and then next week you can do it with another project.
Bill Duncan is a longtime volunteer leader who has not only found a community at Boston Cares, but has also found a deeper sense of purpose through service.
You really start engaging with people when you keep coming back. After doing several times at Friday Night Supper program, I started making friends there. We started doing things together outside the program. It's a Friday night event, so we usually go out every Friday night. But we ended up doing, camping, hiking, many other events outside of it. And it's just been a really wonderful experience. There is a word, it's Sanskrit. It's called Seva, and it means selfless service. And it's just the idea of doing selfless service as a way of learning yourself and learning the world. One time I complained to my daughter that I try to do yoga and all this other stuff. Just saying that I really don't have a good practice. And she was saying, volunteering is your practice. I agreed with that.
After the Boston Marathon bombing, Bill expanded his volunteer practice to include the Red Cross. This has involved responding to daily emergencies like house fires, installing smoke detectors in low-income households, and even helping to manage an emergency shelter in Texas after Hurricane Harvey.
Some of the recent problems we've had, there's just story after story of this is what people did to help. I can be part of that story, and you can be part of that story. I like being part of that story.
These 4 outstanding volunteers are all repeat winners of the President's Volunteer Service Award. They have collectively served 3,440 hours since joining Boston Cares. And as volunteer leaders, they have managed 1,760 volunteers, inspiring many to become more deeply committed as volunteers and as volunteer leaders. Thank you and congratulations to Deb Weibel, Teresa Lamb, Melissa Meek, and Bill Duncan.